Okay, we are live. Welcome, everyone. We already have people in the chat. Let's see, what day is it? Wednesday. We are on, I think, day 6 of the hackathon at this point. Super exciting. This morning we were at over 82,000 registrations for the hackathon and growing. Just incredible stuff. We have over 50,000 members in our Bolt Discord. So just incredible numbers. I see you on Twitter. I see you in Discord. Everyone's crushing it. So, really great job. Today we have a super exciting live stream. We're going to be talking about the face as an interface. I love it. With Tavus, we have Alex from the Tavus team here. Tavus powers the infamous AI Eric that you may have seen on the hackathon.dev website. You may have chatted with him. So we're going to be covering that today. Also joining us is Jay Jelani, founder of thebestofai.com. It's an educational and informational platform. Jay is a mentor, a coach, and he's teaching people how to use AI and has taught hundreds of students how to use AI more efficiently. You may also recognize him from one of our user spotlights. I think that was back in the early days, being maybe December. So, awesome. For those of you who have not been on the live stream before, be sure to throw your questions in the chat here. We will be answering questions throughout this call. Also, this will be recorded and it will be on our YouTube channel after. So if you gotta, start of your work day, you got a dip, you can find this later. Awesome. Okay, I think my spiel is over. Alex, why don't we kick it off?
Awesome. Hey, everybody. I'm Alex from Tavus. We are a developer-first AI video research company. And in a second, I'm going to demo some vibe coding with Tavus and Bolt, but let me first quickly explain what exactly Tavus is. So at Tavus, we built CVI, which we call the Conversational Video Interface. This is essentially a FaceTime with a capable avatar that we're calling a video agent. Because sometimes chatbots and voice assistants aren't enough, and for situations like an AI interviewer, this sense of presence kind of really supercharges the experience and can make it wildly more effective. Speaking of AI interviewers, we power use cases like Mercor's AI Interviewer, Delphi's AI Celebrities, and tons of others like AI Tutors, Companions, and more. The only real limit here is kind of your imagination, and this tech was only invented last year, so I truly do believe that the best use cases are kind of yet to come here. And I hope to see a bunch of them come out of this hackathon. So how does this work? Basically, this experience is made up of 3 components: replicas, personas, and the conversational API call. Replicas are the AI clones that power this whole thing. They are hyper-realistic AI avatars built using a hybrid Gaussian diffusion approach, which we created with our own proprietary models. And you can create your own with just 2 minutes of video. Then personas are essentially a prompt wrapper around this replica that assigns it a persona. Then to actually talk, you call our conversational API and you will spit up a daily web RTC room where you can enter the video chat. And to integrate this into your product, you can customize that daily room, which is exactly what we're going to be doing today. So this isn't just a wrapper around an LLM. These are actually agents that can perform function calls, record transcripts, and speak in over 30 languages. And to really understand building with Tavus, you can check out our hackathon cookbook, which I think should be linked somewhere in the chat. And we'll have tons of links to our interaction docs protocol and all this good stuff. Now, the reason why you are all here is, of course, we are sponsoring the hackathon and we have put AI Eric on the homepage. So we are super, super lucky to do this. AI Eric, by the way, has already spent 200 days talking to y'all, which is absolutely insane. So that's just awesome. We are, of course, also sponsoring a $25,000 challenge to build the best conversational video experience using Tavus. To help you do this, as part of our builder pack, we are offering 250 free conversational video minutes and 3 replica generations. And when you click the link, these are either automatically added to your existing account or they are added to your new account. So just click the link and you can get started. Now, a quick note here is that we do offer an async product that is video generation using the replicas. And these video minutes are not included in our promo code, and this prize is focused just on the conversational side. All right, now on to the vibe coding. I'm going to bring you to the Tavus platform here, which is what you see when you log in. I think that should be sharing now. Great. Okay, so on this page, you can see these personas, and these are personas that have prompts, that have replicas, and you can click into any of them and kind of start off your conversational journey. These are pre-built, of course, and you can build your own. In the sidebar here, you can see create conversation. You can see replica library. We have over 200 pre-built replicas, so you can train your own, or you can use ours. We have like doctors, lawyers, a bunch of different use cases for you to use here. We're going to head into the persona library to get started on our use case. And our use case today is something that I'm really, really excited about. So today we are going to be building an AI therapy app with a familiar face, Eric, and this is just going to take a couple minutes. Therapy is one of my favorite use cases for conversational video because human therapy is super expensive and it's not very accessible. And I really do believe that the person who kind of builds a really good AI therapy app is going to do a lot of good for the world.
Hey, Alex, real quick, how do you create your own persona? Like if I wanted to create my own, how do I do that?
You literally just click into here, create persona, and you enter the name, you enter a system prompt, and you enter conversational context. For our one, we are just going to add the system prompt because we are going to add the conversational context we actually call the API, but all this is both accessible in the developer portal and in our API docs.
Got it. So before, like if I create my persona, does it get tied to any type of database or RAG system, or is that like external? We would have to bring that in.
You do have to bring it in, but we offer support for all of the OpenAI streaming models. So you can bring in whatever your LLM is and connect your RAG systems. We make it super, super easy. We have a bunch of new features coming actually super, super soon that we're very excited about here.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to jump over to GitHub really quick. And this is a quick little repo that I threw together. So this is specifically for vibe coding. And you can actually just kind of grab the link up top and toss it into Bolt, which is my kind of favorite thing to do when I'm just starting a new project. It makes it so, so easy. This is basically a front end that has CVI already connected to kind of a vanilla experience with a decent UI. So just a good start to get started building. All right, now we're jumping over to Bolt. Click on the GitHub link. You can either fork it or I'm just going to import it from here.
So all you have to do is literally copy that URL and paste it there. That's it.
Copy that URL. We also, I think on the repo and the README, we have the stack blitz button, which is my favorite button. So you can just get started super, super easily. Anyway, we just want to make it as easy as possible to start building. Cool. So Bolt actually remembers me somehow, and it has my API key already pasted. You'll have to either create yours or paste yours in here. But this is basically just like a little front end gate that lets you authenticate really quickly. Note that this is not for production uses, and this is sending the API key directly to the front end. So you do need to hide that via backend or like Next.js function if you're bringing this to prod. So we're just going to test this really quick and make sure that it's working. Hey, are you there? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
There we go. Okay, beautiful. I got scared for a second that our StreamYard was messing that up with the audio channels, but I think it's working.
I heard it.
Okay, great. So first here, normally I would do this with Bolt, but I actually built this little drawer here that has settings for the API call. So you can enter your name, and this is going to just add it directly into the context window. We don't actually have a name field. You can choose your language. We're going to stick with English here, but like I said, we offer 30 different languages that you can create your avatar with. You have interrupt sensitivity here, so if you wanted to interrupt a little bit more or a little bit less, you can change this. And then we're going to add a custom greeting. And hey, welcome to therapy. I'm Eric. And we're going to add some custom context. I am nervous about not winning the hackathon. And we're going to add our custom persona in here. Save changes, and hopefully we should see AI error.
Before you do that, where do we get that persona ID?
So we're going to jump back. Let me just jump back really quick. So once you create a persona over here, you will see it in your persona library. And then you can go ahead and see your personal personas. I have a bunch of Eric's, and you just copy and paste the persona ID, and this goes into your actual API call. I'll show off, maybe after this, I can show the actual structure of the API call to help people understand that.
Got it.
All right, now back to Bolt. I think this should have saved, so we can just quickly test AI Eric. Eric, that's what I'm calling him.
Hey, welcome to therapy. I'm Eric.
Hey, Eric, how's it going? I'm a little bit scared about not winning the hackathon. Can you give me some strategies?
That fear sounds like it's overriding your usual coding flow. What's the worst case scenario you're imagining if you don't win? Is it more about the prize, the prestige, or something else
I think
entirely?
it's gonna be my ego.
So your ego is heavily invested in winning. Is this a legacy issue where past validation is tied to external recognition? Or is there something specific about that's making it feel like a high stakes test
And
of
I
your
think
worth?
that's enough for right now before AI Eric digs into my background a little bit too much for a live stream here. But we are gonna use Bolt to do my favorite thing ever, which is just paste in a prompt and completely redo the UI. I just want to kind of shout out the Bolt team because it is so cool using a tool like this. I was a mediocre programmer before, and now I feel like I have superpowers. So this has just been so insane to see this kind of progress over the last couple of years. And Bolt is by far my favorite platform out there. And it's actually also really cool how generally you can kind of see the UI change while it's being edited, which is just crazy.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have a question about this prompt here. So is this prompt specific to this repo, or can I just say whatever, like I want to change just one particular thing on the dashboard?
Sure. So the base of this is just like a React app. So it's actually like really simple to customize. And I just specifically kind of called out the different components here, kind of like my preferred way of making sure that everything's covered. When I tested this prompt before, it took a couple different tries. But basically what we're doing here is we are changing the background to be like more white themed. Before it was kind of dark and Tron themed, and then replacing all the blues with greens, because that seems to make sense to me, at least for a therapy app. So we're just doing a quick little UI change there.
Nice.
We have some questions in the chat. Are you able to alter the avatar after?
After the conversation, not quite sure what exactly this means. You can change the persona and edit the prompt. And we're actually releasing API guidelines for that soon. Normally you just create a new persona, but it's basically just grabbing the replica ID and then adding it to a new persona and then pasting in your prompt in your context.
I think, yeah, after you grab the ID, can you edit the avatar's appearance?
Oh,
I guess it's the same.
The avatar's appearance. So no, you cannot edit the avatar's appearance. Hopefully we'll have some features on that later this year. But right now it is basically a perfect one-to-one model of you at that given time that you do the training footage.
Got it. Makes sense.
Can you link a different AML model to the persona?
I believe so, but let me get back to you on that one.
And then we had a request for the GitHub link that you mentioned earlier.
Yes, and I think, Kate, that's in the doc that I sent over to you.
Oh, yep. I will post it now.
Sweet. Okay, now make this a little bit more therapy focused. We're just going to update the copy using Bolt. I always let LLMs do the first take on copy because I just love having like a starting place. It generally works like pretty good now. It's so crazy.
Alex, I have a question about like the whole setup of everything. So I know you're going to provide the GitHub link, which is awesome. But what if I wanted to start from scratch and I wanted to, just add my avatar to my app that I already have or that I'm building currently? Is it as easy as, just putting in a few prompts, or is there a deeper process there?
It's pretty easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to embed a daily room, and then you're going to do a Tavus API call. You can embed a pre-built daily room. Daily is a web RTC provider. And this will basically embed a chat window that you have basically pre-built components in, and you can just click through it like a normal kind of video chat portal. And that can be easily embedded onto your homepage. And then you make the Tavus specific API call called Tavus.
Got it.
Let me just share our docs really quick to show you what exactly this looks like. So here's our conversational API call. So as you can see, you input the persona ID, conversation in, that's optional. You can do a custom greeting to make sure that it's like personalized. What we do for our demos, we do like a rotating series of phrases where it's kind of like, it feels a little bit more human when you don't have the same greeting each time. Which max call duration, all the usual settings here. And then we also have another examples repo. That's our main examples repo on our GitHub that has quick start. That's like blank quick start. So you can just drop it straight in and no customization or anything.
So is that customized? Like, is the because I know it's an embed, but is that customizable? Can I change colors or any of the features of that?
Exactly. Yeah, you can change everything.
Cool. Sweet.
Sweet. And I think Bolt has cooked here. We have our old replicas in the background here. I like to do little GIFs in the background to make it feel more fun.
Hey, welcome to therapy, I'm Eric.
But now we have Theric, and he's here ready to question me about my insecurities about the hackathon. And that's pretty much it. I could kind of continue and change all the blues.
That sounds like a bit of a stress test for your confidence.
I could continue to change all the blues in this and change. I think there's supposed to be text here. Yep. But I won't bore you guys with my prompting there. If you want to finish this app out, I'd recommend adding a RAG system and hooking it up to Supabase with Bolt. You can do auth, of course. You can set up a database. But I think this is a great start for a therapy app if you are looking for an idea to build on. And like I mentioned, I really think that this is going to be a huge, huge use case in the coming months and years.
Yeah, I totally agree. And some of the other use cases that I'm thinking about, because I know everyone on this call is probably like, well, what else can I use it for? Another thing I'm thinking about is like, this is funny. So one is like grandparents. You know how like your grandparents always come to you and they're like, I need tech advice. Like imagine you cloned yourself and then it's just you and you just uploaded all this like tech information and they can talk to you, but it's not really you, And then like kind of second to that as well is I had this idea like a long time ago, and someone's going to make a lot of money with this idea, but go ahead. So basically, a few years ago, a new law was passed in the United States that said every single hospital in the entire United States had to have pricing transparency, and it had to be on their website. So like you can go onto these different hospitals' websites to see the pricing. And then imagine you have like a kind of like a front desk person that's an AI avatar that you just had a RAG system behind, and the people can just ask like, how much is it to get XYZ procedure done in this state? And then how much is it to get this procedure in another state? And then do price comparison. But you have someone like kind of telling you, it's like almost like a, not a nurse, but just someone at front desk that's just comparing prices with you. And then what you could do is like take affiliates if they go to that hospital or whatever. Another use case I think of is coaching, obviously. So some of the things that I do, like Kate said, like coaching, right? So, and you guys power Delphi, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So Delphi is really cool. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a way to similar to Tavus, but they do other things as well. But Tavus powers them, and you can basically replicate yourself as a coach, and then just have someone that's like you just add a RAG system, and then they just answer questions all day long. There's so many cool ideas I think that you can do with Tavus for sure. My mind's kind of racing right now if you can't tell. But I'm curious to know like what other use cases have you guys seen outside of therapy?
Yeah, so the healthcare intake one is actually pretty interesting, and I really like it because it kind of combines two ideas. One is the function calling. So basically the conversation is listening and waiting for specific utterances that it can then take and turn into a JSON and actually add to a database. So if I'm listing out my symptoms, it can do that. It can basically run through a quick checklist and really understand who I am and then send that back to, a central HIPAA compliant database. Of course, you can hook up your own LLMs. This is all like HIPAA compliant. But then the other cool part of it that I think kind of extends to a lot of other ideas is the idea that, face-to-face communication is really, really high bandwidth communication. There's a reason why we're on a live stream right now. You guys can all see us. And this actually helps you understand better what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to convey, and connect with the audience and connect with the person across from you. So healthcare intake, I think, is super, super important for that. You don't necessarily want to talk to a disembodied chatbot. There's definitely like a lot of use cases where chatbots and voice assistants make a lot more sense than video, but there's also very specific use cases and a lot of general ones that I think we're going to see pop up where video is actually the preferred modality of communication.
What's like the easiest way to set up a RAG system, you think, to Tavus?
I'm not sure these days, because I feel like it's gotten really good with like some of the infrastructure. I haven't done it personally, but I know I was playing around with the new Google AI Studio, where it's like connected to Firebase. I know that they have like pre-built blocks that I think can do the embeddings for you, and then like actually store it in Firebase. So that's my recommendation with a big question mark.
Yeah, I've also tested Cloudflare's AutoRag. So if you're not sure what that is, you just go to YouTube and search Cloudflare AutoRag. But they made it super easy for you to create like an R2 bucket and then just dump all your data in there and then connect it to what they call AutoRag. That could also be another use case, because what's cool about that is they have an API that's connected to it. So you literally just dump all your data, then you can call the API. And I'm assuming if you have it set to Tavus, you can just connect it.
Oh, well, I got to check that out. But I think we have, interesting.
Yeah,
sorry. We have some questions. Alex, would you be able to easily show us how to integrate this into an already built application?
I don't think I can easily show you, but it is, we have a bunch of languages that we support, and it is like wildly easy to integrate into, existing React and other kind of modern web stack applications.
Would you say that the embed is probably the easiest route to go?
The embed, definitely go the embed route, with just our standard JavaScript library. And daily is what you're actually inserting and customizing into your platform. So the way that you generally start this, that we see like customers and companies doing it, is they will integrate the daily room that is basically a pre-built that you can, ask Bolt or Cursor to just like throw the docs in there, and it will actually just add it. So it's pretty simple.
Okay.
Are there some type of mark on it says it's not a real person?
So no, let me get to some trust stuff here. So for all the replicas, we do require a consent form. So this makes you have to read out a consent form that is passed into our training to make sure that you are not training, Donald Trump replica or anything crazy like that on our platform. So we really, really take this seriously. The other thing is that we are a white labeled API company. So everything that you do with the LLMs, everything that you do with, a type of mark on it to display that it's not a person, that is up to you. So we leave the entire basically stack as fully customizable. And that is also kind of the thing with Daily is you can take it apart, you can build it however you want. Daily and Pipecast kind of power a lot of the biggest conversational experiences on the web right now.
That's very interesting because I did some testing with AI avatars and social media. And one thing that I found when I was testing this is the believability factor. And some people don't even know it's AI. So it is true, like it's totally up to you. However, like some of these platforms, they do say like, you have to say this is made with AI. I never did that and I didn't get penalized. So, I mean, take that information as you will. But I do think that as this technology gets better, you do have to have some type of personal responsibility, especially if you are creating these AI replicas or clones. It's funny because I know someone that had, they're kind of they're big gurus, so they have a lot of followers, and someone replicated them and made like an ad, and the ad got like 100,000 views on it or something before it was taken down. So there's a level of responsibility that we have to have here for sure.
Alex, people want to know that you're not an AI agent.
Our avatars can only wave once, so I'm going to wave twice.
I'll wait
There we
till
go. I did think about starting this with an avatar, but it was, I just didn't have enough time. I'll do it for the next one. Good shock value. And then, by the way, on that follow up on that kind of comment on trust is just, I definitely do recommend adding that this is an AI avatar or an AI experience to make sure that people aren't caught off guard. I think especially for the bigger use cases that we're seeing, like Recruiter, like Tutor, where you're not interacting with somebody who like uses AI every day, you absolutely need to tell them that this is an AI avatar. Otherwise, they're not going to have a great experience, especially if it's something like a chatbot where somebody might expect that they're calling a human. You definitely want to clarify that it is not a human first, because people get definitely frustrated. And, when you call a support line and you just get an automated voice, it's the same thing here.
Yeah. I've actually seen that. It's true. It's definitely true. They did it. Like, I've seen a lot of interview. Have you seen a lot of like interviewer AI avatars where it's like you're going on a job interview and it's not a person, it's an AI avatar conducting the interview. And like you're saying, I know if you don't say, it's kind of weird. It's like, is this a real person or not?
100%. Yeah. We have a bunch of use cases around both the interviewer and role playing. And the interviewers are just for basically initial stages, and they are very, very highly disclosed because I think you definitely need to do that. But then the role playing is like my favorite part because I think kind of one of the best value adds to Tavus is that you can role play these high stakes social situations that you might get like penalized for, if you are trying to, obviously do a job interview and you flunk out and you try something new, you're not going to get the job. But you can kind of try it over and over again with Tavus, and it feels real. The eyes are feeling like they look at you. The replica can actually see you. So it feels like you are talking to a real person, and it kind of stimulates that part of your brain that makes it feel real. So I think like training exercises are going to be great for this. And yeah, there's just kind of like a whole world that is currently undiscovered that I think is going to really blow up because people kind of need help, practicing for dates, role playing job stuff. I think even like sexual harassment training could be really, really interesting on here, where you can put someone in an uncomfortable scenario with a robot with, little to no consequences, just in that you can actually simulate these situations where PowerPoint presentations on training and whatnot just don't get you anywhere really.
Yeah, that's an amazing use case, honestly, the role-playing side of things. I know from like a sales perspective, they do role-playing all day, like sales teams. That's what they do. They role-play before they go on calls. So you could do something similar. That's a really good app idea, is like for particular industries or niches, like can you build out a role-playing avatar that's just on that particular niche, just on that particular vertical to get better at selling or communicating?
100%. I think there's a lot of companies right now that are doing that on the sales side. So we're super excited to support them. And also worth noting, it's not that hard to put together a prompt together for that. So if you want to test it for yourself, you can just sign onto the platform and dump in a prompt and basically get started with a AI BDR and see how the role play goes.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow. I know. I'm like thinking of so many use cases for like myself too. I'm like these live streams to practice. Okay, we do have a question. I've seen some question about like memory and does the avatar remember previous sessions? How does that kind of work?
So currently it is just hooked up to an LLM. This is Llama 70B that is run on Cerebrus. So it's like lightning fast. But we do not currently offer memory. We will offer that in the future. Baked in, but you do have to bring your own memory system, your own RAG system. You can use like Mem0 and the other like open source providers. But you can also just, context dump the previous utterances back into it, or context dump the previous utterances back into a database somewhere, and then add that to context each time, of course, or truncate it.
Awesome. And then you might have covered this ability to tweak model behavior based on what you learn.
Yes, totally. So that's going to be our interaction protocol, and you can log all the utterances, like what the user is saying, what the avatar is saying, and you'll see that in your console log. And then you can also run function calls and what we call echo events. That's forcing the user to say something, or you can force the user, or forcing the avatar to say something, or forcing the avatar to respond to something specific. So you can actually guide the conversation a bit more and make it have both prompt-based guardrails and functional guardrails that actually like control the conversation.
Nice. I'm curious to know if it can do other languages.
Yes, I think it's like 30 plus languages that we currently support, maybe like 29, but most of the big ones are in there and work pretty well. We use Cartesia and 11 Labs as our TTS providers, so it's whatever they end up supporting. And I think they have some crazy features coming down the line with different languages. So it definitely works really well. We've tested it a bunch. We did an AI Santa campaign last year, and our AI Santa talked to people in I think like every single country.
That's interesting. So technically, you could build out some type of kind of along the role-playing line, but you could build like a tutor almost that can teach you a different language. Maybe that could be cool.
100%. Yeah, I've actually, when I went abroad in the last year, I have practiced with the avatars before, and it's kind of fun. You get some feedback, and it does, like, again, it feels like a real social situation. So I'm like, oh, sumimasen, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's interesting too, because like I feel like there's like sometimes like with like a human teacher you're like embarrassed, but like with this you would be like, okay, sorry, did not catch what you just said.
No, exactly.
Okay, we have some questions popping off here. Option for captioning.
I don't think we natively support an option for captioning, but like I said, we console log everything out, so it's pretty easy to do that. The LiveKit guys, we just launched an integration with them, so we do WebRTC offering with Daily and with LiveKit, and they published a demo that was a tutor that had an option that had captioning built in. I think they open source that. I'm pretty sure if you check out the YouTube video that is linked in our challenge, you can see that.
Nice. So on the topic of integrations, what integrations do you guys support natively?
What do you mean by integrations? We do a whole stack. I can run through the stack really quick.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what are the integrations that would best support Bolt users when they're building out a Tavus bot or avatar or replica?
Yeah, so it's definitely it's going to be the LLM layer, which is, like I said, swappable with any OpenAI compatible streaming API. So you can just add in any LLM pretty much there and get working, and then connect that to any RAG system. So we try to be like very agnostic about what you can bring in and out. So rather than kind of relying on specific vendors, like I said, we try to make it like as kind of open sourceable as possible. Then the other thing that we do is we do TTS, or we use TTS providers. That's 11 Labs, Cartesia, I think Play HD as our vendors there, and you can switch between any of those. And basically, like if you clone your replica and you don't like the voice, because that is automatically cloned with Cartesia, you can bring in like a high quality 11 Labs one that's done with at the hours of training, or just retrain another one on Cartesia or 11 Labs. So we try to bring interoperability as much as we can into the stack.
Gotcha. Do you know if there's a LLM that's better than another for the avatar?
Yeah, it's kind of very based on your use case. So Llama is definitely the best kind of all-purpose one because it's super fast and like pretty good. I think 4.0 is an amazing chatbot, so you might get better like conversational results on that, but it can be a little bit slower. And then all the other models are kind of good at different things, and it of course kind of depends on what your use case is and if you're hooking up RAG and whatnot. Our base model is the fastest, the one that's automatically included, because that is from Cerebras, and Cerebras does like crazy fast inference and runs on their own hardware. Like, it's insane. If you haven't heard of them, look them up. Crazy company. So they actually provide like really fast inference for us, which is awesome.
Nice. Yeah, that's important. That's one thing that when I was testing this, it's the latency, right? So like if you have something internal that solves that, it's amazing. It really does make the difference, seriously, from a believability standpoint, for sure.
I'll also note that although we do, like, Cartesia is crazy fast, we actually do have to slow down the replica responses. So there's no lag with the other LLMs. We just want to do what we call speculative inference, where basically it starts thinking about what it's saying before it actually talks. So that makes the avatars kind of a little bit more responsive. So it's literally already starting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Can you walk us? I know you kind of showed us before, but can you walk us through the, like, if I, like today, if I wanted to replicate myself, right? Like, what is that process? Do I need to provide footage? Do I need to be in a particular environment? Does it have to be quiet? Like, what are the steps in order for me to get a replica going today?
Yeah. So it's pretty simple. It's a 2-minute video. It's a little bit weird, but it is simple, I promise. Basically, you talk to the camera for 1 minute straight, and you generally, it's kind of exactly like this. You want it to be kind of as natural as possible in your natural recording environment, or with like a high quality camera and studio situation. But I think this is good. I went to replicas that look like this, where basically you're talking to the camera, you are making eye contact with the camera, and you are not moving too much. So basically the way that it works is anything that's in the recording footage is going to show up in the avatar. So if I like look to the side too much, then that's going to show up in the avatar. Like when we have pad avatars, they have all these like funny like little tweaks. Like if you raise your hand like that, it'll just keep on doing that during the conversation. So you have to keep relatively still, not too still, so that you look like basically like your mouth is just moving. But you need to do that, and then you basically do the 1 minute speaking, and then you do 1 minute of silence, and that's to generate the silent frames, because of course the replica is not talking half the time. So you do 1 minute of talking, 1 minute of silence, and that's it. Then you just put it into our system, and you're ready to go. Plus the quick consent one, but that's graded by humans, not by AI.
Got it. Okay. So you would recommend good lighting, obviously, quiet background, make sure that you are kind of staying not motionless, but not doing too much movement. When the replica does come back to you, how long does it take to actually get back to the person? I know you said it's 2 minutes of footage, but then what happens after that?
Yeah, so it's 2 minutes of footage, and then it's a little bit of time. So it takes, I think, about 4 or 5 hours to train. So basically, this is built using our custom model that is called Phoenix 3, and this is a rendering model that's kind of a state-of-the-art thing that's kind of like its own crazy, basically like AI product that we built, and it is a Gaussian diffusion model. So it basically creates an entire 3D rendering of you in space. So it does take a bit of time to create that rendering and make it perfect.
Okay, so 5 hours, so 2 minutes of footage, 5 hours of rendering time to get it to be something of worthwhile. Okay, not bad. And then I know you said you can't really move that much. What level of movement can I do? Do I literally have to stay like super still, or can I like? Because sometimes I like to talk with my hands. So like, do I have to have my hands down, or can I just do a little bit of movement? Like, what are the
You can do a little bit of movement. It's just like, you can think about it like whatever you do in the training footage is going to be what happens in the video on repeat. So if you're moving your hands like that the entire time, then your avatar is never going to put down their hands. They're going to do this forever.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. And we've had you can do it well. It's just it's a balance. So you want to do it a little bit and then put it down, and then that's that. And usually that works the best when there's a little bit of movement, like a little bit of hand movement. But not too much, just kind of in there a little bit.
Do you think that we'll get to a point where you can kind of be a director of the AI avatar? Meaning, like, if I move my hand, I can kind of prompt it and say, I want you to move your hand and move your hand and then move your head. Is there a way that is even possible? Like, I don't even know, to be honest with you. This is a genuine question. I don't know. Because it would be cool if I could be like, yeah, like move your right hand 2 times throughout this particular, avatar, for example. But like, I want to be able to like really direct it. You know what I mean? Like, instead of the AI avatar doing it, I want to become the director of my AI avatar.
The short answer is yes, but it's a secret. More on that later this year.
Oh, secret sauce. Okay. I like it.
We have, is there a way to handle the length of the calls?
Yes. So in the initial API call, there is a conversation duration period. And you just put that. Usually we do, 2 or 5 minutes for kind of quick demos, and 10 or 15 minutes for longer chats. But I believe the avatars can run for a total of 2 hours straight. So you can talk to this for like a while. So like therapy sessions and stuff like that are totally a valid use case.
What about mobile and apps?
Yes, so mobile apps are actually slightly different, and we just did an integration with the Live Kit, and you can use their Swift SDK to get started there. Actually, I was talking with them the other weekend, and one of their guys showed me a demo of it in VR. So it's on the VR OS. in the Swift, so you can totally write mobile apps with it. Yeah. Concurrent users. Yes. So this is gated by your plan that you have with Tavus. I believe for the promo code that we gave everyone, you can use 2 concurrent users. So not a lot. This is just for testing purposes. But if you go into our pricing, you can see concurrent users in the conversational video section, and then check out the plans. And then, of course, for enterprise, we offer scaling discounts, and we will work with you to make sure that you aren't blocked. You can also basically connect up queue so that people can be let into it if you are at concurrency.
Yeah, this is, I guess, how would you maybe have people address if turning on camera, asking users to turn on cameras?
So you don't need to turn on your camera. For this demo, I actually didn't have my camera on, but you can both choose a persona with vision or without vision. We have this model that we built in-house that is a vision model, or perception model actually, called Raven 0. And this is enabled at the persona level, so you just turn that toggle off and keep the video off, and the avatar will know that it doesn't have video and it won't ask about it. And then if you do turn it on, the replica can actually see you and basically learn about your surroundings. So it'll notice what's around you. It can do object recognition. It can do emotional recognition. It can do action recognition. So if you hold up an ID card, it can read the ID card, put that into a function call, toss that into a database. And there's tons of cool use cases that are coming out of that. But you can't turn it off.
How many personas can people make?
I don't think that we gate this. I'm pretty sure you can create infinite personas, so you just keep testing.
And I saw someone asked if they can have multiple personas on one page, I'm assuming, if you wanted to do a persona theater of some kind.
You can definitely do that. It might take a little bit of, actually, it wouldn't be that complicated to implement, because you're just swapping out the persona ID in the API call. So you can do that pretty easily. We have a couple demos set up that have done that.
Nice. So you could technically have one persona talk to another persona. Can AI avatars talk to AI avatars?
They can. They can't actually enter the same daily room because of limits that daily has. They might be able to enter a live kit room. I haven't tried that yet, but you do have to set up a little bit of a custom pipeline for them to be able to talk to each other. But if somebody wants to do that, I think that would be really fun, because I think there's a lot of funny avatar moments of them talking to each other that I've seen internally.
Yeah, that could be an interesting podcast idea where you just have 2 replicas talking about topics. That's pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah, notebook LLM style.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Scripted movies. Okay, let's see. I think we have time for a couple more questions here. Okay, it looks like you might have answered this, Alex, but maintaining context and history between multiple conversations with the same user.
So history is just inserted back into context, and basically LLMs have gotten good enough to the point where they generally keep everything in context super well, and can keep that kind of in their heads. RAG systems, a lot of people start out by thinking that they need RAG systems, but the context windows for LLMs have gotten pretty big. So a lot of the times context is just good enough for most situations. But of course, if you really want to maintain proper history and make sure that it's for therapy, and you want to make sure that you're not misquoting the patient, then you should use a RAG system that will pull the exact text and make sure that is actually inserted into the context in the proper place.
Yeah, definitely. I find that to be true as well when I'm building out my internal stuff. I'm like, yeah, I need a RAG. And then I'm like, wait, no, I don't. The context window is ridiculous now, and it's just gonna keep getting bigger. So RAG might not be needed at all. It's true.
Yeah, the Gemini one is insane.
It's insane.
2.5 mil or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I just like this comment, Ashy. I think that's a good idea. I love these ideas. The chat is just, we got tons of ideas. Chiropractor, travel industry. Yeah, I'm super excited to see some of these come to life. Okay, Alex, where can people go to learn more resources? Where can they find stuff to help them with this?
Yeah, so if you go to our blog, or I think it's probably linked in the description, we have the Tavus Hackathon Cookbook, which has kind of all of our links linked everywhere. And you can basically learn about Tavus, kind of go over in depth more the overview of it, and then go into how you customize the UI, all the screens that I suggest you build, and function calls, and all the different capabilities that we offer. So I recommend starting there, then going to the developer platform, signing in there, playing around, having a couple conversations. And then, of course, using the Tavus Builder Pack, make sure you do that to get 250 free conversational minutes and 3 replica generations.
We have time for one more idea. I have an idea.
Sure.
So I think what's interesting about this is it's easy, right? Like what you're saying from someone who's in AI and can understand some of this stuff. It's not like super difficult, but I think for like everyday businesses like your local mom and pop shops or CPA firms who just have no idea how to connect the dots, going to be interesting to build out this for businesses. So building out using Bolt obviously to build out a face-to-face avatar for companies. I think that could be very, very interesting where you just set up everything, you make their avatar for them, you just ask them for some footage. Obviously, you have to get the consent with the consent form, make sure it's all good there. But I think if you're able to do this and sell this as a service to companies, you could probably do pretty well, especially if you can set up like a rack system, like you're saying, or if you don't need it, if the context window is huge, but depending on the service, you might need it. I think that could be very interesting.
100%. I love that idea. And I think that would work really well, just creating more engagement for those businesses. Obviously, AI Eric has talked to a lot of people so far. So that concept is pretty well proven.
Yeah, exactly. I think people are not as scared of AI as we think they are, as long as the value is being driven. And if you're able to communicate that value through an AI avatar and obviously be upfront and say, hey, like, we want to support as many people as we can. We're a small team and we just using AI to help support us. It can still answer all the questions. And maybe you say, hey, like if it didn't answer, you can still reach out to us here, right? But yeah, I think this could be very interesting for someone to kind of test the theory out.
100%. And I hope one of you is going to do that. Or you, Jay. Go ahead.
I'm pretty busy, so someone else can take that idea.
Someone in the chat, let us know, tag us. For sure. Okay, I added the links to the cookbook and the developer platform. I'm going to add the, and also the repo was up here earlier. Let me add that right now. And also the builder pack. And let's see, I will include these in the description that we will post on the recording. And yeah, I think this is super exciting. I'm really excited to see how people take this information and share. Be sure to share it, tag bolt.new, tag Tavus on X, and let us know what you're building. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. And we will see you next time. Thanks.
Bye-bye.